Writing on his blog for the New York Times this afternoon, the columnist Paul Krugman awarded the top headline to MarketWatch's Rex Nutting. House to Wall Street, drop dead. But he also resubmitted his own writing after the first bailout deal collapsed last Thursday. To quote, what we now have is a non-functional government in the face of a major crisis because Congress includes a quorum of crazies and nobody trusts the White House an inch. As a friend said last night, we've become a banana republic with nukes. Our fourth story on the countdown, what the quorum of crazies and the banana republic with nukes means for you. The aforementioned Paul Krugman joins us now. Thank you again for your time tonight, sir.
Hi there.
All right, for the average American, is this cataclysmic? Has this now spread beyond those who have investments or people who already could not pay the mortgage?
Well, to a large extent, we're protected by the spirit of Franklin Roosevelt. I mean, your bank account is safe, your deposits are safe, everything that is fairly guaranteed is safe. Somebody said earlier in the program about will you be able to get money out of your ATM? Yeah, you will. For most people, this is going to be, obviously, if you've got stock investments, it's going to be a problem. What we're worried about for most people is the effect on the economy. This thing is shutting down a significant part of the whole system by which credit is funneled to the, to businesses. And I'm hearing stories of businesses having credit lines not cut off but reduced, of businesses that can't sell commercial paper. All this is, we're already heading into recession territory. This is going to make it worse.
All right, so those are some of the consequences we should expect. How should we react to them? I mean, to paraphrase the old joke about George Steinbrenner of the New York Yankees, is this the time when we should not sit around and act rationally when a situation calls for panic?
Well, the question is, what do you do to panic? I mean, again, if you're in anything that's federally insured, then you don't have to panic. And in terms of, politically, there's an interesting question for the Democratic leadership now. What do they do? Because they accepted a pretty bad bill. Better than nothing, I think, but a pretty bad bill because the Bush White House, Secretary Paulson, the House Republican leadership was supposed to bring Republicans on board for the bill. Didn't happen. So now, I guess they do a revote probably on Thursday. But if that doesn't work, I guess they go and write the bill they think ought to have been written and put it out there.
With the news from Australia that the stock market there is down 4% in the opening 15 minutes. Obviously, as you mentioned, you had written that this was not a great bill, but it was worth passing. Is there anything in particular that needs to be changed that will make it passable and maybe a little bit more plausible later in the week?
Well, this bill was written. Later in the week, I think nothing can be done because this bill. Basically, the Bush White House came at this with a fundamentally flawed approach. And then the Democrats had to work with this. And it was, buying up the toxic waste when they really should be doing is recapitalizing. They should be buying preferred shares. It's we can get into the technicalities, but they should be coming at it from the other end. The fundamental approach was wrong, and they should be doing more for homeowners. And one thing the Democrats can do is write a bill that will appeal to Democrats and pass a bill on party lines, which would include a lot more help for homeowners, would include bankruptcy, judges able to rewrite mortgages in bankruptcy proceedings. A lot of the things that the Democrats who were objecting said should have been in there, and just never mind the Republicans. But I don't think that can be done this week. And meanwhile, no, it's going to be. I look at credit market indicators, and boy, we're in deep freeze right now. Things were starting to thaw a little bit at the end of last week. Gone now.
A question to conclude about Senator McCain. I'm going to have to read this because there's so much in the last 2 weeks with him. He started on by saying the fundamentals were sound. Then he said he was suspending his campaign to broker this bailout as the original bailout promptly collapsed almost as soon as he said that. Then he said if there were no deal by today, we'd be in another Great Depression. Then he claimed credit for this revised bailout deal this morning. Then the deal fell apart this afternoon. If anything's actually doing worse than Wall Street right now, it would be John McCain on the subject of Wall Street.
He is swinging so wild. I wrote about that in the Times this morning. It's just, at any given moment, he's got very, very firm views. The problem is wait 48 hours, and they've gone 180 degrees around. So no, it's bizarre. It's been. Can I say this? It's pretty unpresidential, and this is scary stuff. We're scared, and he is not helping.
Perhaps that earlier reference to Mr. Steinbrenner and not sitting around and acting rationally when a situation calls for panic applies to the gentleman aforementioned. Paul Krugman of the New York Times and Princeton University. Once again, thank you, sir.
Thank you.